the beautiful walnut tree, steeped in thousands of years of history, folklore and mythology. The walnut tree is the oldest known food tree known to man. How exciting is that? Walnut trees were introduced into this country by the Romans. They can live between 150 years to 400 years or more. Walnut trees are a deciduous tree and can grow up to 35 metres. If you crush the leaves, they smell like polish. The male flowers are drooping yellow-green catkins between 5 and 10 centimetres long. The female flowers appear in clusters between 2 and 5 centimetres. The fruit is pollinated by the wind. Female flowers then develop into the fruit. The lovely male catkin and the female flower. The walnut tree symbolises fertility, love, good luck, prosperity, and most of all, it's known for brain health. It's supposed to be really good for your mind. Walnuts are known as a superfood. They are great for helping people that suffer from anxiety and depression. Eating a handful of walnuts a day is supposed to help your mind relax. Walnuts are a great pregnancy food. They are full of protein, vitamins, antioxidants, and they help to fetal development and neurological health. Walnuts can help you sleep. They contain melatonin and tryptophan, which is an amino acid that converts into B vitamins by the body and is very good to help people sleep. In Greek mythology, the walnut tree symbolised wisdom, and it was dedicated to the god Zeus. When Dionysus, the son of Zeus, visited King Dion of Laconia, he fell madly in love with the young princess Caia, one of the king's 3 daughters. But the 2 elder sisters tried to keep him away from her, and he told them they were betraying a god. Dionysus struck them with madness and changed them into rocks. Caia was turned into a walnut tree. In Roman mythology, the walnut was dedicated to Jupiter, and it was believed when the gods walked the earth, they lived on walnuts. Juglans, the name of the walnut tree, originates in Roman mythology. Jupiter was also known as Jove, who dined on walnuts when he lived on earth. The Romans also called it Jovis glands, meaning glands of Jupiter. In Hans Christian Andersen's lovely fairy tale, Thumbelina, her cradle is made out of a walnut shell. Her cover is a rose petal and her bedding is blue flowers. One day, while Thumbelina is asleep in her cosy walnut shell bed, Mrs. Toad kidnapped her. Mrs. Toad has 3 sons, Morso, Gringo and Grandel. They are a travelling family known as the Singers de España. Thumbelina does not want to marry her son, Grandel, and kindly rejects this offer. Walnut trees play an important role for wildlife. Squirrels particularly love collecting walnuts, but often forget where they've put them, and they grow into walnut trees. We have one in our garden that a squirrel planted, and it is stunning. This is the lovely tree that a squirrel planted for us. It's approximately 10 years old now. This is a royal walnut moth from North America. It grows into quite a large specimen, really pretty, and it loves the walnut tree. The walnut tree is also associated in Christianity. Madonna of the Walnut, St. Augustine, St. Anthony. It also represents Christ, the Holy Trinity. Because of the tough outer hull and woody shell, the walnut symbolises the protection of the precious contents, so it can symbolise the Holy Trinity, Christ, matrimony and the fertility, because of its copious amounts of fruit. Santa Maria della Noce, Madonna of the Walnut. It was built in honour of the Virgin Mary, who on several occasions had appeared among the branches of a walnut tree. There are two types of walnut tree in this country. There is the English walnut and also the black walnut. This is the English walnut and this is the black walnut. Where did the walnut tree originate from? The walnut tree originally came from Persia. From their homeland in Persia, they came to Central Asia and China, in which the Silk Road played the main role. The walnuts came to Greece first via the armies of Alexander the Great, and later to the rest of Europe via the Romans from the Middle East. In ancient Persia, only the royalty were allowed to eat the walnuts. They were very precious. A walnut tree takes approximately 10 years to start producing nuts and another 20 years to reach the maximum production. The walnut tree is also known as the royal nut. Another strange folklore custom was to secretly put in walnut leaves in the shoes of lovers to ensure themselves of their love and fidelity. In some parts of France, it was believed if a woman that had just had a child danced around the walnut tree, this would improve her milk and she would be able to feed and nourish her baby. Did you know squirrels never pick a bad walnut? In Bulgaria, walnuts come out at Christmas and have done over the centuries, and each person will open their walnut to see what is in store for them in the following year. If they open the walnut and it's lovely and fresh and edible, then they're going to have a successful year. In Chinese folklore, the walnut tree was used to ward off evil spirits. In October, the walnuts are ripe and the collecting starts, which in most cases is still done by hand and is a family thing. Cracking the shell and not the nut is an art form. Walnut trees have so many uses: thickeners in plastics, as a filter in explosives, cleaning and polishing, walnut wine, walnut oil, cakes, biscuits, and the wood is so beautiful and prized over the centuries. Walnuts are full of omega-3, which is good for brain health and also keeps cholesterol low. Walnuts have a low glycemic index, which means you absorb them into your blood very slowly. This is good for diabetics, very healthy. It is said that when you've come across a walnut tree on your walks, it's time to make changes in your life and reflect on your life. The walnut tree is so beautiful in the landscape, and it has been painted by so many artists, and you can see why. I hope you've enjoyed this episode all about the wonderful walnut trees. Fascinating, aren't they? Like all our other trees, they all have their own stories and histories. Until next time.